What's going on, world? Welcome, world, again. We are on another episode, which is like Life by Design. Very cool podcast. It's never scripted. Um, we have Legacy Patiño today. So Legacy, he's been very good at music. Okay. Aside from that, he's also with that collectively. He owns a business. He owns a solar company. Okay, and he's growing other brands. He's actually helping other people grow their brands right now in their walk of life. So he's an expert. He's also very, very well accomplished. He's very, very successful. I actually look up to him for some of the things that I'm actually building in my life now, just like in life. So we have him on as a guest, and as Life by Design, the whole show just being, you get me, about helping other people get out of their own way and being able to just create success in their like lives.
Yeah.
So mindset success, social dynamics, having the right mindset, okay, and then having the right dynamics and everything else that we can learn from a lot of the amazing guests that we've been able to have and fortunate to have. And right now we have Legacy, and we don't charge you guys for these episodes. So
Yeah, I love the whole life by design. It's a lot more people should live like that. Be setting themselves up to operate and work on a day-to-day of what they want to do. But a lot of people try to run work. They try to run away from certain situations, but you have to embrace it. Something I always say to a lot of people is they visualize the end goal. They fall in love with the results of their dream life, the Lamborghinis, the Ferraris, the big houses. But a lot of people miss the first step. You shouldn't be embracing the results of your dream life. What you should be embracing is the responsibilities of your dream life. And that's really how you live your life by design. You live it on purpose. You have a map, you have a plan, you have a way that you're operating on a day-to-day basis, and you're becoming uh uh you're becoming a ripple effect rather than just reacting to life on a day-to-day basis. Answering a call is reaction, unless you planned it, unless it's something that you were already working towards. Something comes up, you're going to react to it versus having a plan in place. And once you get in motion and you have enough energy behind it, you have enough momentum, you start creating all the reactions in life. You start creating all the ripple effects, and you're able to control most of the outcome.
Stop it because I'm taking notes. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, more than anything, like I was saying, is just really preparing and identifying what it is that you want, because most people just go through the motions. They go with the flow. The only thing that goes with the flow is a dead fish. You don't want to be a dead fish. You want to be able to swim through the current, to swim through pressure, and like find a way to love the process, fall in love with the process, and the results will come. And a lot of people are afraid of that. They're afraid of the pressure of working out. They're afraid of the pressure of knocking on a door. They're afraid of the pressure of confronting and making a new relationship. Once you fall in love with the process, you start growing at a faster pace. A lot of people have the misconception, like, once I make it, I'm going to just be chilling and relaxing. But that's not really the case. Making it is really falling in love with the process, loving what you do on a day-to-day basis. And if that's not the case, then you need to really evaluate what you've got going on in your life.
With that, like, shared and like asking you another like question for you, you get me. I got a ton of questions for you. How was it for you when you became successful? Like, did you always become successful? Did you eventually become successful? You get me? Because like your company, like, dude, if you're in solar, man, if you own a solar company and you know how to like train salespeople and you're a good salesperson and you can drive revenue, that's not a bad thing, is it?
No, not a bad thing at all. Well, the success is like a double-edged sword. So you have to feel
Because we're
successful.
helping people lower their bills, right? Because we're
Mhm.
helping them lower their bills, and at the same time, you get me. It helps trees and it helps the environment, and it's very profitable. So like,
Mhm.
okay,
Well, it's taking control. If we're looking at it from a consumer standpoint, they're taking control of their energy. They're providing their own energy, and now they don't have to worry about inflation and everything else that's going on because they took charge, they took control. if we're looking at it from a standpoint of an opportunity, we have an opportunity for sales reps, independent contractors, own business owner, like their own business owners. They have an opportunity to create a revenue, a very high ticket revenue, and saving clients.
Thank you for your
Yeah, no,
patience. Okay, here you
um, from a standpoint of opportunity, you're able to create a large revenue and save clients money. It doesn't cost them anything up front, and it just makes sense. It's the future. So you're getting in the way of something that's a utility. It's not a luxury. Everybody needs electricity, And then from a business owner standpoint, and to the reference of you asking about being successful, like I was saying, it's a double-edged sword because I don't feel I'm at the level that I want to be. Doesn't mean I'm not successful. I'm successful and I'm rich in my relationships. I'm rich in the people that I've got to meet. I'm rich in the information that I've been able to get, and I feel successful. I feel abundant. I attract nothing but positive energy, and anything that comes my way, there's nothing that can affect that. It doesn't matter if it's the worst tragedy on earth. Obviously, we're human beings, and uh, we're going to get stimulated, and we're going to have a specific emotion. But if we don't have control over that, it ends up consuming us. We're no longer in control. Emotions are very unstable. And if you don't have the right mindset, if you don't have a set plan, something that you can always refer back to and micromanage yourself, you're going to get overwhelmed, you're going to get stressed, you're going to get depressed, you're just going to stop, because there is so much pressure in this. There's so many problems that come up, and I never look at problems like problems. And I think that's what's helped me so much. I'm a type of person that loves puzzles and riddles. So I look at a problem like a riddle, and every problem works that way. It's seemingly impossible with the solution hidden in plain sight. And I look at everything like a game. And a lot of people are like, man, how can you be so calm in such a high pressure situation? I'm like, well, me freaking out isn't going to help the situation move forward. Me thinking clearly, me trying to think of a solution is going to help us. Me freaking out doesn't do anything. Freaking out and having all this pressure and being overwhelmed, it doesn't help you. It hinders your progress. So in order to break through that, if you're in a position where you feel unsuccessful, if you're in a position where you're like, man, I'm not where I want to be. Okay, I'm not where I want to be, but I feel successful. And most people are successful. They have freedom. They got to wake up today. They have their family. There's so many things that they have. Something that a mentor of mine told me, and it opened my eyes, was, look, if you took everything that you had today with your problems, right? Because you're so overwhelmed with your problems and everybody's out to get you, whatever. If you took everything that you had today and you lost it, like all your family passed away, you lost your cars, you lost your house, you lost your health, they chopped off one of your legs, you went through the worst possible situation where you lost everything that you had, right? And you're going through that day all day. It's the worst. You're wishing you can get a restart, a reset. You're so sad because you don't have your family and the people that you love. Now you're living in regret. You're like, man, I should have had that extra phone call. I should have sent that message. And then the next day you woke up and you got everything back, everything that you already had before. Those problems aren't as big as you
Yes.
thought. And sometimes we inflate those problems, we inflate those issues, and we don't realize how good we have it, how successful you already are. It's just a matter of putting yourself in motion. I got this tattoo here: E equals MC squared. It's energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. It basically says energy converts into mass. Thoughts are energy. So I have this here where I can see it every single day. And I can make sure that my thoughts, my energy are focused towards what I want. I have it as a reminder, as a reflection, as a mnemonic device to check my thoughts, make sure that I'm thinking and I have the right mindset and I'm shooting towards what I want incrementally, even if it's a little bit a day, it doesn't need to be massive movements. If you have incremental movements on a day-to-day basis, you're going to have situations where there's monumental movements, where there's things that catapult you forward. But the only way you put yourself in that situation is to be in motion, to put yourself in those positions. You know, if you want to be a very lucky person, you need to start preparing more, because a lot of times we've had opportunities in front of us, but we can't take advantage of them because we don't have the resources, because we don't have the funding, because we don't have all these things that require for you to be a lucky person. You know, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So if you're not putting yourself in those positions, if you're not prepared to take those opportunities, you're not going to be very lucky.
How do you make your thoughts like stronger? How do you build a stronger frame on reality?
You have to control the information you consume. You have to really, really control the environment, what you're consuming on a day-to-day basis. If you, for example, if you're watching drama, for example, a show about drama, 4 hours a day for an entire year, your personality, your mind is going to start attracting that. You know, it's going to start finding ways to become that character. Your mind is a program, and what you're consuming, your brain is going to try to process and use that information. So the only way you really take control of what you're thinking is what you're consuming. Like, what are your friends saying? Every time you're around your friends, are they talking shit about other friends? Are they talking about how shitty their job is and how shitty their life is? You're going to start feeling that way. If you're in an environment where everybody's growing and growth driven solutions and there's no problems and there's always the bigger thing, that you're going to fall in that line. So the only way really to control what you think is you have to control what you consume on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. And then, gotcha. And then okay. Wow. That's been like so like amazing. Okay. I have a lot of, so with music, because you're with music itself, how were you able to build a strong frame on that being the inevitable of what it is, who you are, what's to be, and what is? Like
Well,
how, and then getting comfortable with that. You get me? Because from
yeah,
there, I'm gonna get stuff that I can apply to my reality and then for other
yeah.
reality. You're also a very successful CEO, so it's just yes,
Well,
modestly humbly.
in the music side, it's something that I've done as a
Legacy.
kid. Yeah, and it's something that I've always had a passion for. So it wasn't like it was taking away from who I was. It's just something that like an outlet that I have for emotions. You know, there's an outlet. Everybody has to have their outlet, their getaway, the way that they express themselves in a healthy way. For me, it's music, and it's always been music. And funny enough, growing up, everybody wanted me to get away from it. Like, dude, you weren't born in the fame world. That's not who you are. You can't just make it. You know, it's only certain people on earth,
Can.
certain people on earth that are doing it, you know? So growing up, a lot of that, people were trying to take me away from it. And I realized at a young age, when I tried to really push for the music, I always ran into the issue of needing funding, of needing like videographers, of needing marketing, and really identifying what pieces or what elements were missing. So I was like, you know what? I can't rely on someone to find me or someone to sign me or like someone else to come in and find me and put me there. I need to figure out a way to get myself there, to where I'm relying on my efforts, I'm relying on my investments, I'm relying on the things that I can control, and taking that approach. So I knew that I needed to find out how to become a business owner. I needed to become an investor. I needed to figure out how I can get the whole funding piece element out of the way, to where that's no longer a question. Because if my funding is good, then everything else becomes accessible. There's options now for everything. So in the music side, and a lot of people take, criticism or judging, they take it to heart. If it's something that you love to do, it's something that fulfills you, then don't stop. Like, don't stop doing it. Find ways to incrementally have you or propel you forward on that. So with my music, it's just something I've never let go. And I do it because I love it. And I do it on a daily basis. I write some phrases. I'll be driving around and throw some beats on and just freestyle. It's a part of me. The racing side, getting into the race world, racing in the Baja. I haven't had the pleasure of racing professionally, but I've been involved in a lot of races. And I'm out in the desert. I have a truck and I'm always out in the desert because, again, it's something that I love to do. And I just make sure that I stick with my foundation. What is pushing me forward and what has gave me the ability to have options. And I never forget that, because a lot of people put themselves in a position where they're stable, they're financially free, they're set, and then they stop doing the thing that got them there. So you can't forget what put you in that position. You have to know how to multiply it. And people get overwhelmed with trying to structure multiple things. Something else that a lot of people would tell me is, dude, you have to pick one thing. You can't be everything. The jack of all trades, master of none. So that's true in a sense. But if you find out how to master a trait that you can implement across the board, then you're not a jack of all trades. You're a master of one thing, but you're able to implement that thing that you mastered in multiple areas. Like I mastered sales, I mastered negotiation, I mastered business. And now I use that skill set in the music. I use it in my business. I use it to mentor. I use it for consulting. I use it for building courses. That same skill set, that sequence, that process, that system, results driven, something that's tactical and tangible. Like that same sequence I use for everything else. So don't ever be in a position where someone is trying to take away from who you are. Always be who you are. Enhance that and become a better you. Become a better version of you. Like the question that you asked earlier, how do you control your mindset? Well, control what you're consuming and really think about, visualize the person that you want to become. And that person, what are the responsibilities of that person? What are the skill sets of that person? What does that person look like? How does that person present themselves? And work your way up to becoming that.
Wow. Okay, got it. And then let's see. And then when it comes to just like family itself, because like there's just so many gems you got me where like I am keeping up, but I have questions, and you're just so amazing in how you're able to just like present ideas. Like you're able to just keep it like, yeah. Okay.
Well, in the family side, you have to learn how to involve your family and become involved with them. Find ways to align what you're doing with what they value, because most of the time your family just wants to be around you. So if you're inviting your family to these events, you're inviting your family to come to a meeting with you, or literally just blocking out some time, just like you block out time to do anything else, block some time out for your family. Like that's who you're doing it for. Don't forget about the people that you're doing it for. They don't care about your money. They don't care about the things that you have. They want you. They want to spend time with you. So the best way to do it is to involve your family in the things that you're doing and find a way to become more involved with the things that they're doing. Like most of your family members, they have this dream, they have this passion, they have this thing that they like. Find how to align yourself with that. A lot of my family is in the race, Baja world. Well, that's a perfect outlet. A lot of my other family like drinking and partying. Well, I have events, I have concerts, come to this. Finding a healthy way of involving your family and not forgetting, again, that's what you're doing it for. So don't put them on the back burner. Don't be the person that's so caught up with work and so caught up with the things that you have to do that you forget about that. And that was actually something that was really hard for myself, because I was so caught up in work and every single day grinding Monday through Sunday, waking up super early, stopping extremely late. And my excuse was, I'm doing it for them. But then what happens if in that process, one of my family members passes away and I didn't spend any time with them because I was building something for them when all they wanted was time with me? So we have to be able to see all of that. Like what are you here for? And who are the people that are around you and with you no matter what you have? So involving them in the things that you do and the things that you're passionate about. Most of the time your family want to support you. They want you to grow. They want you to be successful. And it's just finding those outlets with them.
Then that's amazing. Okay. I have a question for when it comes to building more relationships, like real, and I think you could master you have more than one talent. Like in, do you believe in God? Do you believe in Jesus? No? Yeah, I respect everybody.
Yeah, I
All right,
do.
cool. In the Bible, there's this one passage where it says, this person was given 3 talents, this person was given 5, that other person was given 8. And God and Jesus were pleased with the people that multiplied it. So you like mastering like the stuff that you have, like all the stuff that is of yours, because you're gonna have like all these things like leader, like okay, and then when it comes to building real relationships, I want to get better at being able to build more real relationships. I'm always trying to improve my social graces, my mannerisms, any kind of like high value behavior that I can integrate with my
Mhm.
programming. I always want to improve that. How can I get better at building even more real relationships? Legacy.
The true the It's not a trick. The real process, I should say, to building a relationship is being genuine, number one, and then understanding what's valuable to that person. So, and what you bring to the table. I like to look at everyone like ATM machines. I look at myself like an ATM machine and everybody else like an ATM machine because it's easy to see. Now, I bring this person to my life. Does this person continually like over and over again withdraw from my ATM, or does this person deposit into my ATM? Right. And I'm looking at every individual like that with value. Like, what value are they bringing to me? What value can I bring to them? Do these people align with the things that I want to accomplish? Because there's some people that don't. Like, you can't associate yourself with everyone. You have to find those people that are wanting to grow. You have to find those people that are willing to work with you and enjoy your presence. Building a great relationship is understanding what the other person values and how to bring more of that around them. Um, a lot of people get too caught up with presenting what they have, like coming up to a person, hey, dude, what's up? I have this event going on and I have these businesses. I have this, I have that. But what about that person? You have to learn to ask more questions. When you're presenting yourself with someone, put them in a position where they're almost consulting you. For example, I'm in Tucson right now, building a solar team here in Tucson. I've been talking to a lot of new people. The first thing I do is, hey, are you from around here? I'm pretty new to the area. Question. Now they feel like, oh yeah, dude, I've lived here your whole life. Oh, damn, that's awesome, man. Well, what is there to do here? Question. Now they feel they're giving value to me. Whenever you help someone, you feel like, oh, dude, I helped this guy out. Like, you feel good about it, and you're asking more questions. Now you're like, well, what do you do? Oh, dude, what? That's awesome. You have a landscaping company? That's badass, dude. Well, I do solar. We do a lot of door to door. There's people that always ask for landscaping. How can we do some business together? How can I provide value to your company? How can I help you grow what you have? What can I do to help you? And the law of reciprocity, they're going to want to help you back. But people get lost in like, well, what can I get out of this person? Take that out of your
The
head.
losing formula.
Yeah. Go to people and see how you can bring value to them. The more value you bring out, the more value you can put into people's lives, the better the relationship is going to be. And then as you're building that relationship, you're going to be able to determine whether this relationship is worth nurturing, or if you've got to cut it off or limit the time that you spend with them. Because there are bad influences. There are people that shouldn't be in your life. Sometimes they might be family members. Not necessarily cut them completely off, but there's a limit, or there's an environment. If I have two cousins that are super troublemakers, and I know that if we go throw a house party, there's going to be a mess, versus inviting those two cousins to a business event that I have, that I know that if they're put in that position, they're going to act a certain way. Now I'm like, okay, well, in this position, I can be with them because they're going to be a specific person. They're going to have a set standard that they're going to operate in. So if it's someone that you love, it's someone that you want to keep in your life and you don't want to completely cut them off, then you need to find the positions where that person is not going to affect you negatively or going to be drawing from you.
Dang. Okay. And then how did you become super cool with, okay, got it. Okay. I always want to grow my mindset and grow. Like I've grown so much, and I have a question specifically, but this is valuable because I'm like, I got some time with you right now, which is cool, man. Okay. Um. Hmm. How nah. I wanna get better with my own self confidence and my self belief because
Mm-hmm.
I knock neighborhoods now, and like I stand out, right? I don't know, like it shouldn't be weird, but like I don't know, like like going with it, like I see it more as opportunity now, and then I'm a spiritual success, like just like taking notes and stuff. But it's like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you become okay? You get me with like I don't know, like I guess like maybe like your ethnicity and like being able to just like I don't know, kind of like lean on it more, like
Mm-hmm.
just yeah.
Well, I wouldn't look at it like a negative thing. So because usually whatever you feel, whatever you have in your head is the energy that you're going to be giving out. So if you feel like your ethnicity is a problem, then it's going to become more of a problem. You have to be okay with yourself. And in the confidence side of things, the confidence side really stems from your subconscious. Like, are you keeping promises that you're making to yourself? And if you're not, then your confidence is going to start going down. Because if you're talking to someone and you're like, dude, you need to do this, and you're going to fucking knock it out of the park, but you're not doing this, and this, you're not going to feel as confident telling that person. But if you're practicing the things that you're preaching, usually something that I say, because everybody's like, dude, practice what you preach. No, preach what you practice. And if that is not something that you like, then you need to change what the fuck you're practicing. Like, you need to change what you're doing if you can't preach what you're practicing. It's not practice what you preach, you're doing it backwards. Expose yourself, preach what you're practicing. And you don't necessarily have to do it to the public, expose it to yourself. Like, what are you doing when no one's watching? What are you doing when you're alone and you're out there that you're supposed to be working? You're telling everyone, dude, I work 1,000,000 hours a week, this and that, and you work 4. Like, your confidence is gonna drop. So you have to stay consistent with the things that you tell yourself. Build that confidence up by keeping your word to yourself. And then adjust what you're practicing on a day-to-day basis to where it's at a level where you would want to preach it, where you would want to tell people like, dude, I did this and I got these results. What? How? By doing this, and this. Like, your confidence is going to be through the roof because you did it, because you were able to accomplish and create specific results. So when it comes to our mindset, a lot of times we have these ideas in our head that stem from us. They're things that we are concerned about. The other person necessarily doesn't even think about that, or hasn't even brought it to an attention. It's like being on stage and forgetting what you're about to say. If you're on stage and you forget what you're going to say, improvise, say something else. Everybody in the audience wants you to win, but you can set yourself up and be like, well, I'm super nervous, guys. I kind of messed up what I was gonna say. Like, now everybody's like, oh damn, this guy's nervous. Like, what he's feeling, he's portraying to the audience, and it shouldn't be that way. The audience wants you to win, so make sure that you're not letting your own doubt, your own insecurities blind you, and take control of how you're operating. Like, improvise, get through what you feel. It's what you know. That's why having a clear vision and having a very specific plan is so important, because it doesn't matter how you feel. This is the plan I have, and this is what I need to execute. If I feel sick, if I feel tired, If I feel unmotivated, who cares? This is what I need to be doing. And you build your confidence through that. You build your confidence through withstanding the things that you don't want to do, but you know you have to do them and executing them. That's the best way to do it.
Dang, this is wow. This is worth millions of dollars. Literally more actually. Okay. Um. Hmm. Because I always have Brad Lee coaching me, and I'm always like into personal development. So it's like, but I what are some courses I that you've taken actually that you like a lot,
Mm-hmm.
like through like selling and maybe like life, like
Yeah.
and
Well,
or books
I'll,
collectively.
I'll I'll make a comment
Yes.
with mentors and kind of elevating the way that you're operating. All of these people that other people look up to, Brad Lee, Grant Cardone, Ed Milet, they're people. They're people that have had X amount of time working on the thing that they've been doing, and they were able to reach a level of success that is very admirable. Sometimes that can be something negative for a person that's like, I'll never be able to reach that, or they see these
Yes, you can.
people like a whole other level, but that's not true. Like, have that person rewind back to your age, to your state, and I'm sure it'll be fairly similar to where you were at, if not worse, most of the time. I'm pretty good friends with Brad, and he's always told me, like, you motherfucker, like, you're 28, and man, the things that I was doing when I was 28, I wish I was doing that. And you start to realize, like, damn, well, there is a certain level that we're at, and we can reach that. They're not superhumans. They're humans. They make mistakes. They bleed. They eat. They do the same things that we do. They've just been consistent in their field. Big mentors of mine. Brad showed me a lot. He showed me a lot of techniques when it comes to really engaging the close. How to change someone's mind from a no to a yes. He's huge in that skill set. I've learned a lot from Grant. Sorry, my battery's running low here. I've learned a lot from Grant, which is very, very action. So the most that I've learned from Grant is take immediate action and don't slow down. Build that momentum to a very high level and don't let off the gas. Like, take the brake out of the fucking car if you need to. Jordan Peterson is huge, probably one of my favorite, and he does a lot of psychology, a lot of understanding how the human mind works, and how everybody's a human like an animal. Everybody's got a sex drive. Everybody's hungry. Everybody's got specific traits that they share throughout all human beings. And he realizes how to put that into unison, into a specific formula to understand people. John Maxwell, huge in leadership. I wouldn't recommend anybody else. He's the king when it comes to understanding how to lead a team, how to be the best leader that you can be. And a few books that I could recommend, and they're fairly across the board. I'm sure most people have heard of them. I like The Art of War by Sun Tzu. I like Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Robert Greene is another huge asset to my arsenal. I've read all of his books. I would really dive into Robert Greene, and it's complex. If you're starting out and you're just getting into the personal development, I wouldn't start with Robert Greene. Robert Greene is like, once you're at a certain level, you're gonna start understanding persuasion and like how to influence and operate and the words that you use in a specific formula at a whole other level. And just, again, it goes back to controlling what you're consuming. If you've built that avatar of the person that you want to be, you built that like super you, like, this is who I want people to remember me as, this is the person that I want to be, this is what he looks like, this is what he acts, this is the things that he knows, then you're backtracking. For me right now, things that I'm personally learning is I'm studying French and Mandarin because I want to be able to speak 4 different languages. I want to be able to travel the world and speak the languages. And I know that with English, Spanish, French, and Mandarin, I pretty much cover most of the world. A lot of people already know English, and there's a lot of Latin America places, and Mandarin is another huge one, and French. Something that there's little elements. I'm also restudying a lot of the books that I've already read. Like I'm going back to a lot of Jordan Peterson's and John Maxwell's books right now because I feel like I'm reaching a new stage of leadership. I'm reaching a new stage of influence. So I need to circle back. I need to make sure I'm resharpening that sword. Not because you've listened to a book once or you've read it once means that you've mastered it. Find your Bibles, is what I call them. Find the books that have moved the needle for you the most, and make sure you're consuming them at least once a year. Like have that set of books, 10 books, and make sure those 10 books you're consuming every year, and then add to it. Add not necessarily those Bibles. Make sure your Bibles are your Bibles. You're reading them every year, but then you're also getting new information. You're receiving new information, different mentors. And it doesn't mean that you have to follow everything word for word, because how something worked for one person or one mentor might not work exactly the same way for you. So you
With
have
your
to be,
unique talents and skills,
yeah, and know how to pick
there's
out
where the opportunities at.
Mhm. And how you can apply it.
Okay. Um. hmm. Wow, we've covered so much. Legacy. How do I become a better leader? What are some of your, like, I guess, rules for leadership? And like we could wrap it up with that, and maybe like one or two more questions that you want to
Okay.
go into.
Well, rule number one of leadership is you're not allowed to feel bad. You're not allowed to feel sick or emotional. You have to have full control of yourself because your team is relying on you. Your team is relying on your emotional support. They're relying on your strength. They're relying on your traits, and they're looking up to you. You always have to have that strength to be able to take everybody's problems and emotions and things that are going on with their lives, because when you start dealing with 40, 50, 60, 80 people, those 80 people have lives and they have families, and things are going to happen, and they're going to call you freaking out, and it's your job to hear them out, understand them at a personal level, and then guide them through that emotion. Remind them who they are, remind them what they're trying to accomplish, and who they want to be, and make sure that you're there for them. Don't be in a position where you're not even listening to them. Like, dude, don't act like that. Get back to this and that. Like, that's a horrible leader. Listen to them, be genuine, and care about your people. I have a tattoo here that says king. The traits of a king. A king always looks out for his kingdom and always puts his people before himself. So it's another big element is looking out for your people and making sure that they're getting the things that they need, they're getting the support that they need, and providing that opportunity for them. Another thing is creating specific results. If your team is outperforming you in every aspect, then maybe you should reevaluate who the leader should be. You have to bring specific results to the table. You have to lead from the front and be in a position where everybody wants to get there. And it's like a race. You always have to stay ahead. You always have to be like consuming new information that you want to relay over to your team that's relevant. You're almost filtering it. You're bringing in a brand new book, and maybe out of that book, there's 2 articles that you want to share with your team that are relevant. Understanding where your team is at, and constant communication. Make sure that you're in communication with your team. If you leave your team and you ghost them for 2 months, I don't think you're going to have a team anymore. They're going to find another place to go, or they're going to find another leader, or they'll become a leader themselves and they don't even need you anymore. So you always have to be setting a standard. And aligning your vision with their vision, because a lot of leaders get stuck in a situation where they want all of their guys to look at that person's vision and follow it to the T. And that's when it becomes like a bottleneck where it's like, well, we can't get past that guy. He's the top and that's it. That's the way it works. And it shouldn't be that way. You need to be able to have your vision and align it with your people's vision. Find out what it is that they want to accomplish in life. Find out what they want out of life. Find out the person that they want to become. And something that I do with all my guys is I let them express all that to me. I let them tell me what they want, what results they want, and then I hold them accountable to that. I'm like, dude, I'm holding you accountable to what you said. Do you want to lower what you told me? Then let me know so I can.
Oh, you're still here. Huh. Well, that's the end of our episodes. Go home. Go home. Go apply some of the knowledge that you were able to receive from some of the other episodes and possibly this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one. It's the end of the episode. Make sure to drop a comment, subscribe, throw a thumbs up, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. This is Noise Zapata with the Life by Design podcast, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.